For more than 20 years, viewers grew used to seeing a familiar face light up their screens, a presence that felt less like a presenter and more like someone you'd share your morning coffee with. There was something comforting about the way they spoke, laughed, and connected, especially during those unpredictable live moments that couldn't be scripted. And right beside them, for much of that journey, stood Ben Shephard, forming a partnership that many fans came to admire, celebrate, and in some ways depend on. But now that long-standing chapter has come to a close. The announcement didn't arrive with grand drama or over-the-top theatrics. Instead, it came with a quiet weight, one of those moments where the words feel simple, but the meaning behind them lands deeply. After 2 decades of dedication, early mornings, shared jokes, and countless memories, the decision was made to step away. And just like that, everything felt different. For viewers, it wasn't just about someone leaving a show. It was about saying goodbye to a routine, to a familiar energy, to a dynamic that had become part of everyday life. There's something strangely personal about morning television. It enters people's homes at their most ordinary moments: breakfast tables, rushed school mornings, quiet starts to busy days. Over time, the people on screen start to feel like part of that rhythm. That's why this goodbye hit harder than expected. The chemistry with Ben Shephard was always a standout part of the experience. There was an ease between them, playful, natural, and often hilarious without trying too hard. Whether it was a shared glance during a slightly awkward segment or a perfectly timed joke that caught everyone off guard, their connection brought a spark that couldn't be faked. It's the kind of partnership that builds slowly over years. You can't rush that level of comfort. It grows through early call times, unpredictable live TV moments, inside jokes that only make sense after years of working side by side. And when it works, it really works. Fans notice that. They noticed the laughter that didn't feel forced, the support during tougher segments, the way one would naturally pick up where the other left off. It felt balanced, genuine, and at times almost like watching 2 close friends who just happened to be on television. So when news of the departure began to spread, reactions poured in almost instantly. Some were surprised, others admitted they saw it coming, pointing to subtle changes over recent months. But most shared a similar feeling, gratitude mixed with a touch of sadness, because even when change is expected, it doesn't always make it easier. What makes this moment even more interesting is how it reflects something bigger. After 20 years in the same space, stepping away isn't just a career decision, it's a life shift. It means letting go of routines that once defined your day. It means saying goodbye to colleagues who became like family. And yes, it means walking away from an audience that watched you grow over the years. That's not a small thing. Still, there's also something exciting about it, because behind every goodbye is the possibility of something new, a different pace, new projects, maybe even a chance to rediscover parts of life that were put on hold during those demanding early morning schedules. And if there's one thing fans seem to agree on, it's that this isn't the end, it's just a transition. Of course, many couldn't help but wonder how Ben Shephard took the news. While reactions remained respectful and measured, there was a noticeable sense of appreciation. You don't spend that many years working closely with someone without forming a bond. And even in a professional setting, those bonds matter. They shape the way you work, the way you communicate, and the way you show up every single day. It's safe to say this wasn't just another colleague leaving. There's a certain kind of silence that follows these moments, not awkward but reflective, the kind where you realize something familiar won't be the same anymore. And yet there's also a quiet respect in how everything unfolded. No chaos, no unnecessary tension, just a calm, heartfelt step into a new chapter. Looking back, it's easy to see why this journey resonated with so many people. It wasn't just about presenting, it was about consistency,
showing up day after day, year after year, through changing trends, evolving formats, and shifting audiences. That kind of longevity isn't easy to achieve, especially in a world where attention
And
moves so
that's what
quickly.
made it special. It felt steady. In a way, there's even a bit of humor hidden in the situation, because if you think about it, after 20 years of early alarms, quick wardrobe changes, and live TV surprises, stepping away might actually feel like the biggest plot twist of all. Imagine finally being able to sleep in without worrying about the next segment or unexpected technical hiccup. That alone might be worth celebrating. But jokes aside, the emotional side of this moment can't be ignored. There's a reason people feel connected to these stories. It's because they reflect something familiar: change. Everyone experiences it in different ways. Leaving a long-term job, moving on from routines, saying goodbye to people you've worked with for years. It's relatable, even if the setting is completely different. And that's what makes this more than just entertainment news. It becomes a reminder that even the most stable, long-running chapters eventually come to an end. Not always because something is wrong, but sometimes simply because it's time. Time for growth, time for rest, time for something new. As for what comes next, that's where curiosity takes over. Will there be a return to television in a different role? A shift toward something behind the scenes? Or maybe something completely unexpected? Right now, that part remains open, and honestly, that mystery is part of what keeps people interested. Because after 20 years of being part of people's mornings, one thing is certain: the story doesn't just stop here. And for Ben Shephard, this also marks a new phase, adjusting to a different dynamic, building new on-screen connections, and continuing a show that thrives on chemistry and energy. Change affects everyone involved, not just the person stepping away. Still, if history has shown anything, it's that strong professionals adapt. They find new rhythms, new moments of connection, and new ways to engage the audience. It might feel different at first, but sometimes different brings its own kind of excitement. For now, though, fans are left with memories. Moments of laughter, unexpected bloopers, heartfelt interviews, and that unmistakable sense of familiarity that built up over 2 decades. Those things don't disappear overnight. They stay, quietly shaping how people remember the experience. And maybe that's the best kind of goodbye. Not one filled with noise, but one built on appreciation, a recognition of what was shared, what was created, and what made it meaningful in the first place. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about how long someone stays, it's about the impact they leave behind. And in this case, that impact is hard to ignore. As this chapter closes, one question lingers in the minds of many. What moment will you remember the most? Was it the laughter, the unexpected surprises, or the simple comfort of seeing a familiar face each morning? Whatever it is, one thing is clear: the story may be changing, but the connection with the audience remains. And sometimes, that's what truly lasts.